Alright.
Click it.
Yep.
Alright. So, one of the common stereotypes founded in a variety of professional sports is the concept that black athletes are more athletic and explosive, while white athletes are smarter and have more finesse. We're here to investigate and explore the causations of these stereotypes and the possible ramifications. So, first of all, are you familiar with these stereotypes?
Yes, I am.
If so, what sports do you see these stereotypes associated with, and in what context were they used?
Well, usually I see it with like basketball, football, sometimes soccer, but not as much, but mainly with sports that people consider black dominated, which is like basketball, football, track and field, things like that.
Okay. And in what context were they used?
Well, usually I see like a lot of people, especially younger athletes, there's like that dichotomy, like you have white athletes and you have black athletes, and all the white athletes said the black athletes are good because they're just more explosive, they can jump higher, they're always faster. And then you also see that divide saying the white athletes, although they can't jump high or run fast, they're smarter, they're like the quarterbacks, or the people who can shoot, and they're the people who can like jump or do pole vault or something like that.
Right. Okay. Next question. In your opinion, how do you think these stereotypes are formed?
Well, I think it's half fact and half just people having to account for their inferiorities.
You got it.
Inferiorities, yeah. For instance, like there's some truth in that. A lot of African American athletes can run fast, they can jump high, but then you see as time progresses, it becomes something everyone says, oh, so since one guy can do it, they all can do it. So it becomes something that becomes generalized.
Right. Okay. Next question. So media can play a big role in the portrayal of athletes, especially through big name stations such as ESPN. How do you think the media plays a role in the formation of these stereotypes?
I think they play a role, but not as big as we'd expect. Because a lot of media stations like ESPN, they try to be more politically correct, so they wouldn't say, oh, this guy is black, so he's good at this. But I think what they do wrong is they tend to focus on certain aspects of black athletes. Like, oh, they talk about a guy who can jump high, run fast, but they forget to mention other things he's good at. Like, he's also smart on the field, he's also good at this. Then you talk about, like, a white athlete, you talk about how he's, like, smarter, how he has a high, like, sports IQ, as opposed to the black athletes who they don't really say much of that about.
Okay, cool. All right, next question. The greatest structure associated with this study is racism. How do you see these stereotypes, propelling racism?
Well, indirectly, racism is formed through unbased generalizations. So what happens is you have those generalizations that, okay, so this black guy is good, so it means they all must be good. And then that moves forward, and then you start saying, oh, this guy's a criminal, so they all must be criminals. This guy does bad, so they all must do that. So people start saying, like, it starts from a small thing like sports, which isn't really a big deal, but then as those generalizations begin to increase, they begin to move toward things that are a bigger deal, like violence or like theft or rape and things like that.
Right. Did you have to do the capture thing again?
No, that's fine.
Okay, all right. Next question. What are the possible consequences of these stereotypes, and what does this mean for athletes and non-athletes?
Well, I think they tend to bring black athletes down a little because you have people who may not be as African American, they might not be as fast, they may not be as strong, may not be able to jump high, and they have so much pressure put on them from all the stereotypes. They feel like they have to be a certain way and conform to a certain image, a certain body type, and when they don't meet that image, it tends to be hard on them, especially on younger athletes, because kids are more blunt about it. It's like, oh, you're black, so you have to be fast, you have to jump high, and when they can't do it, I think it puts a huge weight on them. And for non-athletes, it's the same thing. People see a non-athletic black guy, and they're like, wow, you're not athletic, like, what do you do with yourself? You can't play basketball? And I just think it's hard for a lot of people to deal with that.
Right. Okay. That's perfect.
All right.
Yeah, that was great.
That was
That was exactly what we needed.
All right, cool.
Yep. Great. That was perfect.